Hey guys, today's story is about a game at a convention with a couple of not-so-great players. Hello everyone, this is my first post here, and the short story that I have today happened about 2 years ago during a fantasy convention, if you remember those. And what happened wasn't really a hardcore horror story, but it was a pretty nasty game for me, and especially for one other player. I'd also like to apologize, as English is not my first language. But anyway, during this con, many various games were organized. You could join any group, from your standard fantasy fair to cyber anime lolitas trying to save the world. This story happened after I returned from a fast food place nearby. With my bodily hunger sated, but my role-playing hunger growing, I decided to join a random game on the event. I checked the list of upcoming games, and I found out that a Dark Sun adventure would be organized shortly. This was peculiar to me at first, since GMs at this event tend to not do D&D games and prefer to promote other, more original titles. I gladly joined, nevertheless, since I never played in the Dark Sun setting, but had heard a lot of good stuff about it. I arrived at the table first and met the GM. He seemed like he was a pretty okay guy that seemed to be a huge fan of the setting. He explained that we would be playing with the Black Hack rules, which he modified to fit Dark Sun, which basically just means that he edited the character classes and made some custom sheets. But hey, cool, at least character creation would be quick. The second player came, and he was a pretty quiet guy, and I quickly understood why. He explained after a quick chat that he was completely new to TTRPGs, and this was his first time playing, and he had no idea what to do. I was happy to see a new face in the hobby, and I even sat near the guy to help him make a new character. And I explained to him everything, how the dice work, what to do, and how to read a character sheet. I think the GM noticed that the player was in good hands, so he let us talk and, in the meanwhile, prepared his map and notes for the adventure. So anyway, we made our characters, and I made a friendly bard that specialized in making sculpts for local lords. The new player was a cleric with some water-related and healing spells. From what I saw, he was very happy with his first character ever. Our adventure would take place in a prison, just next to a gladiatorial ring, and our mission was to escape the prison before we would be thrown into the ring and eaten by monsters in front of a cheering crowd. Sounded cool. Just two things being missing. We were still waiting for 2 other players, both of whom had actually signed up to the game, and both of whom were 20 or more minutes late because they went to a restaurant for dinner. But, no problem. We have time, and the table was ours for the evening. After a long wait, the missing players finally came, and I and the GM quickly explained to the new guys the current situation. I'm playing a bard, these are my skills, and this guy is completely new to RPGs, and he's playing a supportive cleric. Now, we just need someone tough or someone cunning, and we'll be able to get out of this prison no pro- Yeah, okay, I'm playing a cleric too? What? But...
Yeah, me too. The other classes suck.
And they started to make 2 new clerics. But not only that, they made the exact same cleric that the new guy had made. I think they even copied the same stats and spells. And if you remember how I mentioned that the new guy was happy after creating his first and original character? Well, his smile and optimism were gone. So yeah, here we are. 1 bard, and 3 identical clerics. But whatever, maybe it won't be that bad, right? Oh boy. When the game began, the GM described our cells and how the sector of the prison worked. Everything was grimdark, and I was starting to feel the Dark Sun vibes kicking in. The GM then started to describe the Templars, at least I think they're called that, who patrol the cells. 3 of them opened our cell to check on us, and told us when we would be thrown into the arena, which basically is just how much time we have to do what we need to do until the game over screen appeared. Now, this is important, as the Templars patrol the cells in groups, each of whom are heavily armed and clad in heavy armor, owning magical weapons, and being able to use magic. The GM very clearly described how they were basically gods compared to us, who are literally naked, hungry, and weakened prisoners. Anyway, the Templars entered our cell, so I said, "Alright, I'll try to talk to the—"
I charge at them.
What?
So you charge at the Templar patrol naked with no weapons and in a weakened state?
Yeah, I start punching them. I'll kill them all.
As you probably guessed, no, he didn't kill them all. But we were all sitting at the table for almost 30 minutes, while Player 1 was rolling for attacks, jumping and dodging naked with his meat serpent out. And the Templars kept knocking him out. We just made our characters, and we didn't even leave the first room, but we were about to die thanks to his actions. This player refused to listen to me, the GM, and even the new guy. And he kept trying to murder the guards, saying,
I can do it, I'll kill them.
The new guy kept staring at the table and the rolling dice, unable to say or do anything, because both of these other players were going crazy in the cell, and if I remember correctly, Player 2 somehow tried to support Player 1 with spells, which also ended badly for him. Which, yeah, great idea. Cast spells while naked and chained on your inmate right next to an armed guard. After Player 1 was left with 1 HP and almost all of his bones broken, he went silent for a second. So I took a deep breath and said to him, "Maybe you should just give up."
Oh, good idea. I'll just tell them I give up and ask them to forget everything.
After that, we could finally start the adventure normally. But no, Player 1 and 2 suddenly stood up after an hour of playing, looking at their phones, and they informed us that they sadly could not play further, as they had to do something important. They apologized to the DM for leaving, and went, leaving the new player and I alone to face the prison. And for some reason, the adventure became much easier after that. Go figure. Well guys, at least they only were there for an hour. I just hope that the new guy wasn't particularly put off D&D. I hope that when those two left, the OP and the new guy had a much more enjoyable experience, but the OP doesn't really say anything on that. And considering this was at a convention, I don't know what rules that convention had, so maybe getting rid of these guys wasn't even a possibility. I don't know. What I do know is that these two particular players sucked significantly, and it honestly kinda sounds like that they might have even been doing this intentionally just to take the piss and not actually play the game. But that's the end of the story. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and, as always, have a good one.